everyone. Welcome to another episode of our Growth Series podcast. This is the Aziza Development Growth Series, and this podcast is brought to you by the Aziza Development Foundation. We explore the forefront of empowerment and economic transformation in Africa. So I'm your host today, and today we have with us Omo. My name is Pedro, by the way. Okay. We have with us today on the podcast session Omo, and Omo is the founder of Omovigho Donald Foundation. She also works in the line of women empowerment, and it's really, really beautiful what Omo does with a foundation, helping women get out of situations where they feel helpless, and helping them to turn their situation into bigger opportunities, giving them freedom, liberation, and so much. It's really, really, really amazing. So today, the topic of the episode is going to be turning pain into power, and that's supporting the entrepreneurial journey of women facing abuse. Okay, this is a very interesting topic, and we have got someone who has a big wealth of experience in this regard to come and enlighten us today. So, Omo, over to you. Okay, can you please share with us a little bit about your background, your work, what you do with your foundation?
Thank you very much, Peju. I'm Omo Donald, the founder of the Omovigho Donald Foundation. My organization is responsible for the conversion and rehabilitation of sex workers across Nigerian states here, but currently I'm majorly based here in Edo State. And what we do, we'll engage in a quarterly outreach, tagged the Winning Women outreach. So quarterly, we visit the brothels. The brothels is a place where prostitutes lodge for sex work. So we launch out every quarter of the year. We reach out to them, we minister to them. My organization is faith-based. So we reach out to them through love and compassion. Many a times in this society, we found out that so many persons they stigmatize them like they're bad people, they snatch people's husband, they're doing this, they're doing that. But come on, you need to hear their stories. Many of them are single moms. Some came out from a background of abuse, sexual abuse, and violence. A lot of things led them to sex work. Yeah. So
Wow.
when you go out there, you hear their stories and you'll be moved with so much compassion. Way back, it's been 8 years. I've been doing this for the past 8 years, and I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot. There was a lady I met in 2016, March precisely, in Edo State here. She was done. She was highly infected. Could you imagine? She was being abused right there in the brothel. Like young guys come, they sexually abuse her. They would rape her severally. The day we got to the brothel, other sex workers, they were like pleading, please help this woman, take her out of here. Not knowing that she was already HIV positive. She was not just HIV positive, she was also down with mental illness. And she had loss of memory. She had to stay with me for a couple of months. Trying to reunite her with her family was a very difficult one. But I thank God we were able to rescue her. Then way back, I was still a student on campus. She stayed with me. When I found out she was HIV positive, I knew that she couldn't stay with anyone else except me to avoid stigmatization. I took care of her. We started our therapy journey, took her to the hospital where she could get medical attention. She was helped. She got freed from infection, but HIV positive is going to be there for life. So she needs encouragement. She needs love. To cut the long story short, we're able to reunite her back to her family, not knowing she had a son who was exactly my age just at that time, 21. So the son was so happy to get his mom back. You see, such stories. Imagine we didn't rescue her from the brothel that day. She would have died there. But Happy, her name is Happy. She's living the life right now. She later went back to learn a skill, fashion design, and she's doing really well. She's happy, she's living her life, she's healthy, and she's happy with her family. So sometimes we don't need to judge a book by its cover. You need to go out there and hear their stories. Hear their stories. Many of them are single moms trying. I know sex work is never an option, but these ladies go through a lot. They go through a lot.
Wow,
So
that's
I'm happy my going to the brothel gives them hope, and it helps them restore that dignity that was lost as a woman.
you are
So
right.
I'm happy. I feel fulfilled whenever I save the sex worker from sex working. I feel so fulfilled. And fulfillment comes more when they are fully established, getting a more decent work and living a more fulfilled life.
Wow, that's a remarkable work you're doing. It's quite interesting. And you mentioned that you've been at it for 8 years. Let's talk about your
Yeah.
experience. So, from your experience, okay, what would you say are the key challenges that women coming out of these difficult situations face when they try to start their entrepreneurial journey? So, I remember a few years back, I went to
Yeah.
like an event, okay, but then the setting was more like these restaurants that later in the night it kind of like converts into a clubhouse. Okay, so I
Yeah.
met this lady there. She was she was waiting to meet men, and we had conversations, and she was talking about how she really wanted to change her life, how she wanted to start something. But at the time, even I myself, I didn't even have the kind of information to give to her to say, okay, you can do this or do that to come out of this uh line of profession and start something for yourself. Okay.
Sex work.
So share with us what you think are the challenges that these women face. It's a different thing for someone to say, I want to change my life. And then it's a different thing for someone to say, I know how to start this journey. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. All
Okay,
right.
thank you so much, Peju. The truth needs to be heard and the truth needs to be told. Just like that lady told you, I want to come out, I want to start something. I don't want to be too spiritual here, but for a sex worker to turn a new leaf, it's more spiritual than physical. I can tell you for real, many of them have tried to come out. They start a decent work, but they will go back there. Yes, they will tell you that it's because of some certain financial constraint that pushed them into prostitution. Of course, that's all they will always say. But the truth is, I've seen sex workers who have been in the job for 15, 20 years, and they didn't come out with a dime. Now, I recently made an estimate. A brothel is very, very unsanitized. The environment they stay is very, very unsanitized. And you need to see the kind of lodge. No ventilation, everywhere dark. It's inhumane. Those people who end up, they pay rent on a daily basis. They pay a lot of fees, security fee, light fee, whatever. If you should put everything together, you see in a local brothel, they pay up to like 300,000 in a month. And with
Wow.
300,000 naira, before you could get a rent in a local environment for a year. But that's what the sex worker will pay for a month. Now imagine an average prostitute is required to sleep with at least 10 to 15 men on a daily basis just to meet up with these demands. And that's where their pimps comes around. Owners of brothels, they exploit these ladies a lot. So it's not by their power they will come out. Many of them have come out. I myself have had issues with owners of brothels, managers of brothels. They come in females and also male. I've had issues with them trying to bring out these sex workers because these ladies work for them. They work for them full time. And then you come out and say you want to bring them out to give them a more decent life so they can start up something and become a better person. It's not an easy job.
Mm,
So first and foremost, the sex worker needs to make up her mind. She needs to make up her mind. And making up her mind, saying, I'm not going back to sex work. I want to become a better person. I have value. I'm a woman. I believe when you build a woman, you build a nation. A
mm,
woman is a nation. A woman can give you plenty. Just give her one, she will multiply it. So women are utmost value. To come to think of it, that a woman can actually exchange her body for money, for monetary value. So the
mm.
body is very expensive. So she must make up her mind. And what will help her to start up this journey? She will have so much fear. I've had some of them who were runs in businesses. They were doing well, but they couldn't sustain it, and they had to fall back to sex work. So
Wow.
making up her mind will take the spirit of God. That's the ultimate truth. It will take the spirit of God. I've seen a sex worker said, I got pregnant, I gave birth to twin, I wanted to settle down with the man, even if it's pure water, I will hawk in the streets of Edo State. I just want to turn a new leaf. Yes, she started something, but she went back. She will sex work and go back to her husband's house by weekend.
Wow.
So you see, it's not, and she was selling pure water, she was selling other things. So until the spirit was involved, she didn't stop sex working. So that's where the spiritual angle comes in. So when we bring them out of the brutal, this is what we do. The first stage of rehabilitation, they must go through some spiritual cleansing. And this takes some time. It takes counseling. It takes the word. It takes prayers. First and foremost, the prostitute must be ready to come out. I always tell people, money is not the first thing. Yes, you want to do business, you want to learn a skill, you want to learn a trade, but that's not the first thing because you've done a trade before, you failed. So the first thing is the deliverance of the mind. And this can only take place by constant word. The scripture says, faith cometh by hearing. And what do you hear? The word of God. The word of God is able to transform a man. So during these processes, yes, the entrepreneurial journey can now kickstart. And what we did this year, we applied a method whereby they will work for us.
Mm-hmm.
As they are working for us, they can also be doing some domestic work outside. There was one of our converts, she was working in a school as a nanny, while in the evening she will come sell under organization. Yes. So we had to see that seriousness in her, that
Mm.
zeal to want to turn a new leaf. You know, every sex worker's rehabilitation might not be the same. So you deal with them the way they would
As individual.
react as individuals, yes. So these are the things you need to take note. Rehabilitating a sex worker is the most difficult job ever. Ever. It comes with its own challenges. So you have to be patient with them. You have to be extremely patient with them. Many times they might fail. They might fail. So that's the fear. Many of them, they're always scared of, what if I fail again? I don't want
Mm.
to go back to sex work. I don't want, that's where encouragement comes in. You can do this. And that's how we send them out. Let them work. Let them do some domestic work while they are doing business under us. So when we see your level of commitment, seriousness, and input, yes, we can release funds for you to start up your own. I have a convert earlier this year. I saw her seriousness and her zeal and everything. She was productive. We bought her a fridge, a refrigerator, and she's doing well. Every week she gives report on how her business is going. She resides in Warri currently, and she's doing very, very well. And she said, my children are so proud of me. Though our kids didn't know that she was once a sex worker anyway. So they have to keep this a secret because of stigmatization. It's not a good thing to say. But she's doing very well. My first convert ever, Mercy by name. She was 33 years at then. When she left sex working, she started this young business. You know, Benin people, they are good in farming. She
Mm-hmm.
started young business and she did very well. Before the end of the year, she could boast of her own 300,000 naira as capital, not even business money. And what she was doing then, she started going to prostitute house, speaking to prostitutes about her own conversion and also leading them in entrepreneur.
Wow, that's
So that's
beautiful.
how it, yeah.
Yes. So I was going to, so you were sharing about, assessing the readiness of the person and all of that. So I'd like to
Yeah.
ask, okay, so what kind of skills or education are most important for women who have experienced abuse or exploitation as they start their businesses? Because these women, they already have previous traumas, like you mentioned earlier, that some people have started something and have failed. That's why they resort to
Yeah.
other options of making money. So tell me what kind of skills, okay, or education can be relevant for people who have experienced abuse, trauma, or exploitation.
Thank you very much, Peju. Um, I would say when a sex worker is out of the brothel, the
Mhm,
first thing is not just to empower the sex worker, just like you're giving a gun to someone that has never handled the gun or that has handled the gun before and
mhm,
failed and
mhm,
was almost killed even in the process. So he or she needs the right knowledge. They need to be taught, they need to be educated, and that's where financial literacy comes in. And I really want to appreciate the work of Fumi Okumbajo. She's doing a great work in the lives of women, giving them financial literacy, how they ought to sustain their businesses. Though sometimes they might feel that you're being too hard on them or you're being too disciplined on them. Some will say, no, this business my mother did for years. She used to take care of us. Is that how? Which kind of this, which kind of that? They want to complain because of the mentality. So
mm,
it's as if you're taking them through another school. And I would tell you for sure, sex workers need ex-commercial sex workers, they need discipline, financial discipline. Though some of them ran into debt. That
mm,
was why they couldn't sustain their business. I've had a lot of experience with some of them who ran into debt, trying to send their kids probably abroad for greener pastures. And then they sold all they had, or they used their business as a collateral to collect loan and they couldn't pay back. So if they have this right knowledge, they won't have to use their businesses for as a collateral to collect loan. They
mm,
would know. So they lack this knowledge and they will never agree with you. So you are working on their mind.
mhm,
You need to sit them down. The skill they need is financial literacy. Some of them are already skilled. They have vocations they're already doing. Some of them are hairdressers. Some of them are into baking and the rest. Many of them, they already have skills. In fact, when you ask them, what can you do? You say, me, I can make hair very well. Oh. You say, good. And if you look at our economy in Nigeria right now, you have to do what will be giving you daily income.
the income.
Because if you wait for salary work, you won't be able to meet up. So some of them are even ready to sell pure water in the street. Some of them are ready to start street food business in the evening, street food business. Yes. So when they come together like this, we lecture them. Some of them already have their plans. They will come and tell you what they want to do and even break it down for you and even tell you the future of the business. But you don't put money in their hands because if you put money in their hands, that's not the best option. No. So
Mm,
along the line, as we keep talking to them and educating them, we'll find out what this lady can do. There
mm,
was a lady that we worked with this year. We taught her how to make peanuts because she's from Ebonyi State. She said in her village, they usually go out to the town to buy peanuts. And so if she learns how to make peanuts, she'll be able to supply to the women who go outside the village to get those peanuts. And when she was done with that training, she told me, she said, I've never been so proud of myself the way I am now. And my
wow,
father would be so proud of me. She was 19 years old. Yeah. And
wow,
so she started it with us. So we saw how she was able to handle the trade before we empowered her for that small scale business. And she's doing very well in the village. She's
wow.
doing very, very well. Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So, like you have
When,
noted.
and one thing with them is that when they know that you are with them,
Mm-hmm.
like my converts, they are so dear to me. For me, it's not a passion, it's a call. I can call and chat with them on a daily basis. How you doing? How's life? How's business? Okay. It says, so they are open. When they know that you are with them in this journey, that fear will be gone. And whenever they are having challenge, I look at what happened in my shop today. Oh, see. I say, don't worry, it will be better. You encourage them, do this, do that, put this in place, do that. But money is not the first thing to introduce to them. Give them the right knowledge, equip them, and let them work for some time before you know if we are releasing funds for them or not. And
Mm.
thank God we have beneficiaries that are still standing. We have beneficiaries that are still standing.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. And I'll go to the next question, okay? You
Right.
shared earlier about the lady that you had to take in to stay with you because of
Mm.
concerns of stigma and that. So I wanted to ask, how do you address stigma and societal changes? Okay, so in the society, especially a society like Nigeria, yeah, there's a lot of stigma attached to people coming from such backgrounds, especially women who come from the backgrounds of exploitation and abuse. Society does not exactly embrace these people with open hands. So how do you work with them to overcome these societal barriers? How do you build, their self-confidence and esteem?
Yeah, that's why as a brutal evangelist, I would say you have to be very confidential because
Mm,
these people will share their life secrets with you. I know
mm,
that they are never ashamed, but they are ashamed of the profession they found themselves. Sex
mm,
work is not a good thing. Yeah. And so it's hard. Do you know that there is a woman, a 52 years old woman, she's not convert. Her kids are grown up, but they never knew that their mom was sex working for years, for years. Even when I finally got to meet with the children, you know, they I promised her I will never mention that to them. So many of them are in our society. Many of them, many of them are in our society, and that's one of their greatest fear. Some
mm,
will travel, for example, now, those sex working in Delta states, majority of them comes from the West, the East.
mhm.
Most of them come from the West and the East because you can't come from that environment. You don't want people to recognize you. You don't want anybody to know you. You want to hide your identity. In fact, the truth is, they will not even bear their real name there. If
Wow.
if my name is Renma, so in the
Mm,
brochure, you should be bearing, you won't bear Renma, you should be bearing Mercy. That's
wow.
your brochure name. Yes. Some will bear Lovett, whereas their real name is Mercy. So that's just to hide their identity. They
Mm,
can never, ever tell anybody that this is what I was doing. So when a sex worker, an ex-sex worker comes and tell you that, this job we've been doing, out of all my converts, there is only one that is so confident to say it anywhere, anytime, that this work, I did it before. And
wow.
she's not ashamed of the stigma it will bring to her. And that could only be God. And she found her purpose. She goes to brothels, she ministers to these ladies, and she will tell them, you see this job, I have done it before. There is
Mm,
no gain inside. She will boldly tell them. She's never ashamed to say it. So it takes a level of self-confidence. That's
mm,
where counseling comes in. They are like babies. I've had convert that was almost 60 years old. I treated her like a baby.
wow.
Yes.
Okay. So,
She's doing well now. She's an evangelist right now. She's from Akwa Ibom State.
mm. So you've
So,
mentioned counseling here. So let's go into mental
yes.
health and resilience. Okay. So how important, I know it's actually very important. Mental health is very important. But then in this your rehabilitation process, and you have experience with counseling these women. So would you share with us how important is the mental health support in their rehabilitation process, especially when you're trying to help them become entrepreneurs.
Yeah. For them to give back to their world, they must be mentally fit
Mm-hmm.
because they're actually unfit. That was why they chose sex work. Sex work is not a good business any woman should go into. There's a lot of dangers that are associated with them. I know of some sex workers that lost their lives right there in the brothel. This brothel, like go to that brothel to minister. And one day we went to see one of our sisters there. When we
Mm-hmm.
got there, something had happened to her. One of the men that came to see her in the night, they tied her inside the room, cut off her tongue and some of her private parts. And
Mm.
you know the most annoying thing is that it's a touching story. She was gone. She was gone. So not just her. We've had a situation whereby a sister called us and said, she and her sister, they have been into sex work, but something happened to her sister. One of the clients that came in the night just met her in the room, brought her at night, and tore under of her belly.
Wow.
They carried that 8 surgeries on her at the spot. And though she's fine, but there are so many things she can never do again as a woman.
Mm.
So you see, um, there are so many things. I'm just so emotional right now. I'm just trying to, when some memories are just trying to play in my heart,
Yeah.
you know. I've had converts who stayed with us. Um, it's such a challenging moment. It's very challenging. Sometimes they are helpless. You need to help them. Some are already drug addicts. There was one that stayed with us. Before we would come back to the house, she has scattered everything. She would break the chairs. She would put down the tables. She was already running mad. So I tried to get some medical practitioners to assist us in this. I have doctor friends. I have friends who are social workers that comes around to counsel them
Mm.
because the burden of this work is so much, is wide. There was one among the ladies we rehabilitated earlier this year. She was gone. She can't, the way my head is stable now, her head cannot be stable like that. She keeps shaking because of overdose of drugs.
Drug use.
So
Wow.
yes, drug use. Yes. So we
Mm.
have to separate her. We isolated her because she needed special treatment. She
Mm.
needed special attention. I got some medical friends that comes around to help her out.
Mm-hmm.
We've already spelled out the rule of the house. You don't take drugs there. So if you are ready to change, you must not take drugs there. You must not smoke. You must not take alcohol.
Wow.
It's part of the rules.
Okay.
It's
So,
it's it,
yeah, if we're looking
yeah.
at people out there, okay, and what advice would you give women in underserved communities? Because a good number of these women did not just decide that I have things in abundance and I have to go in this line of career. Most of them they have financial lack. They have maybe depravity. They have situations that seem very hopeless. That's why they resort to that option. So, what advice will you give women in these underserved communities who may be facing abuse or exploitation and are unsure about how to take the first step towards building a better future?
Yeah. Thank you very much for that question, Peju. The
Mm,
thing is that we see a lot of young girls going to this thing. In fact, they've created it now, not just sex work. It's now called hookup in a
mm,
more modernized form, where girls see it as a way to pursue and get money from men. The thing is that it's never an option for a woman. Late last year, we had the last quarter of the year. We're actually preparing for an operation that will be commencing November. We met young girls. We met a 14-year-old girl, came to the brothel to sex work
Mm.
for something that is as cheap as a sewing machine.
Wow.
When she shared her story with us, some of them lost their virginity right there in the brothel. Their pimps brought them from the village, telling them that you're going to make money here and help your mom start up something, help your younger ones. They make them swear an oath. So when we go to the brothels, we make them know that those oaths are of no value. It's not true, it's not real. So
Mm.
a young girl of 14 years old who has lost her dad, the pastor of our local church helped her to acquire a fashion designing, and then she needed to start. She said she doesn't have money to buy a sewing machine. That was what pushed her into sex work. I
Mm.
said, okay, why didn't you go to do some domestic work, like maybe States Girl or something? She said she was doing that for over a year now. And the mom, she usually used the money to help her mom for feeding the house, as they are six in number. You see, because of the mentality she had, a friend lured her. She said that the friend told her that she will be coming to the city to do a decent job where she can get big money. But when she came to the brothel, she found out that it's for prostitution.
Wow.
And that was how she started prostituting.
Wow.
14 years old, a minor. It was so touching and heartbreaking. I, it was really touching. It was touching. And she was so scared. There is no confidence. No confidence of, I'm going to leave what I'm doing. I don't know if it's even bad. So what we do, we help them know their rights as women. Nobody should cajole you into selling your body for funds,
Mm.
especially at this early age. It's too much. There was a case I saw. This lady cannot even speak English. She
Wow.
can only communicate in her local dialect. So
Wow.
her fellow thief, they were still sex working there. They will help her. When a man comes, they will talk to the man and they will tell her to go inside with the man. Now imagine that man can do anything to her and even sleep with her without using condom or something because she doesn't understand
What's
even
happening?
pidgin language.
Yeah.
Yes, what's happening? Just imagine.
Wow.
So it's never an option. It's never just that many of them are ignorant. They are ignorant of what's happening. They don't know. They
Mm.
just bring them from the village. Retail managers, some pimps just bring them. This is what you are going to do, and you have to do it. So when we go there, we try to tell them of their self-worth. We tell them of their value. It's never an option. What is sewing machine? As at then, it was 60,000 naira. I got a sewing machine. And
Wow.
someone, how many men will you be able to sleep with to acquire that money? There was
Mm-hmm.
a time they were taking 500 naira per man.
Wow. That's really
Earlier this year, it was 1,000 naira per man.
wow.
So how many men can you sleep with to
Mhm.
get 100,000 naira?
So, it's incredible
Your
the
health is at stake.
yeah,
Your
it's
life is at stake. Everything about you is at stake. So I
yeah.
would tell young girls it's never an option.
Mm.
It's never an option. They have a glorious destiny.
Mm.
They
I
must be
think
contented knowing
yeah.
that they have a future.
Yes. We need more people like you. We need more people like you. We need more foundations like yours that help with liberation, with liberating women who find themselves in situations like this and to empower as many people as possible. So I'm hoping that, we have more people to go into this line of work that involves empowering women. And I must give it to you. Well done. Well done. It's really, really, really incredible what you're doing. Unfortunately, we don't have more time. So we do hope to bring you back to
Mm,
our podcast again so that we can have more insights into empowering women, okay, from the field of people who have been abused, people who feel hopeless and think that um, I would- let me not use the word. Let's just leave it. Yeah.
use the word. There's something I want to say here. The
Okay.
depth of my work is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you said, we need more organization to spring up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the depth of my work is very important and is blissfully priceless in the world
Yeah.
because very few people want to go to the brothel. Many a times we put our lives in the line just to save a sex worker. You
Mm-hmm.
have to face a lot of things. You have to face their manager. You have to face, some of them can be very violent, the environment, you know, but
Yeah.
it's a call. And I pray we get more people that will
I
selflessly give their hearts to these people.
I hope so too. All right, people. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much, Omo, for sharing with us today. We really, really, really
Mm.
appreciate your time, okay, and your wealth of knowledge. Okay, people. This is the Aziza Development Podcast Series. Okay, you can connect with us on our